In today's talk, I would like to delve into the concept, even the reality of impermanence in the Buddha's teachings. The Buddha's teachings are based on the three cornerstone characteristics of impermanence, the unsatisfactoriness of impermanence, and the non-self nature of all phenomena. These three characteristics forms the focus of attention of the insight meditation, the practice of mindfulness leading to the direct perception of insight and the accumulation of wisdom, the development of wisdom. And the first of these characteristics, impermanence, is the one that's the most easiest to access. Of course, we all know that the Buddha's teachings are based on the Four Noble Truths of suffering, the cause of suffering, the end of suffering, and the path leading to the end of suffering. But in order to understand suffering and the cause of suffering in depth, one has to understand and directly perceive the nature of impermanence. Now, impermanence on the ordinary level is fairly, obvious that, this body is subject to sickness and disease and death. That's one aspect of impermanence. Another aspect is that, we knock a clay cup off a table and it breaks, so we say impermanent. And that, the seasons are impermanent. That spring comes, lasts 3 months, summer comes, lasts 3 months, autumn comes, lasts 3 months, and winter. So on the superficial level or the surface level, the reality of impermanence is fairly obvious. But when we attach to things and we develop attachment and clinging and we don't want things to change, then we suffer on account of that. But things by their nature are always changing. But the Buddha really focused his concept of impermanence on what he called the Five Aggregates. That means the aspects of our body and mind that are constantly undergoing the process of change and becoming otherwise. So from the moment that a baby is born, it grows up, until the time it dies, its body is always undergoing growth and decay, change. And it is said that even in science is telling us now that, every cell in our body changes within 7 years at the very most, but many cells of our body are changing minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. So that even 7 years, we don't have one cell of our body that is the same. So we have a completely new body every 7 years. And our mind is even changing faster than that. The Buddha taught that the body may seem to be the same for several days in a row or several weeks, even months. And you only see the changes the obvious changes over long periods of time. But he said the mind, this mind, is changing constantly, moment by moment, just like a monkey moves through the forest by grasping onto one branch, letting it go, then grasping onto another branch, letting it go, and you move through the forest. So it's the impermanence of the mind that the Buddha regarded as even the more important to understand. That we can't really even control our own thoughts, our moods, our feelings, our perceptions, because these things by their inherent nature are impermanent and subject to many, many conditions, subject to the law of causality. And so our feelings change, painful feelings, pleasant feelings, our perceptions, our moods, our emotions. They're triggered off by certain circumstances in our environment. And they well up, they arise, they last a few seconds, maybe a little longer, a few minutes, maybe a little longer, but then they change and pass away. And largely we cannot really control them. But we're affected by them, and when we cling and attach to them, saying, this is my feeling, this is my thought, this is my emotion, and we identify with it, and try to cling on to it, or even try to push it away, then suffering arises. So that everything in our world, the world inside our body and our mind and the world around us, is in a constant state of flux and change. And this is what the Buddha termed as impermanent.